What's up, guys? Welcome to B Sports Picks. So, I would say about the last week or so has not been so great. So, I wanted to take a step back. That's why I just wanted to come on this live to kind of regroup again and look at some of this stuff. Last night, I was looking at adding Ken Palm. If you don't know what Ken Palm is, he's one of the gold standard for college basketball. I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I have available that's going to change the game of the way that we look at stats for college. So I actually found one play I'm going to hook you guys up with, but I do have some information here. What's up, man? Good morning. Yeah, I wanted to come on here to regroup. I just kind of been feeling like NBA has been shitty as hell. So I wanted to come in here and talk about it and then also look at some college stuff. So let me get into it here. So this is a little bit harder to see, but let me zoom in here. I did a lot of research yesterday, and I've talked about this in a couple of videos, but I wanted to kind of go and do some deep research into this and just kind of make sure that I understand this, because I've been doing this for 4 years. And I know a lot of people that have been doing this for a lot longer than I have. And there's certain months and certain days that just suck. So overall, this is what I've mentioned before. I've said that after the playoffs, after the All-Star break, every sport seems to go down. And that's actually correct. And the reason is, like, let me show you an example here. It says, where is this? I guess I had a full breakdown, but basically this is just a calendar overview, and it's telling you what happens during each month. So for example, in March, it says you want to look at March Madness, the conference tournaments, and then the NBA and the NHL when they start getting deeper into like the playoff pictures and stuff like that. So anyways, one of the things is also baseball comes back this month. So I'm not forcing anything. We had a great pre All-Star break. We were hitting 15-0, 17-0. We had a lot of sweeps, and now it seems to be going downhill. So I'm going to just take a step back on NBA, and I'm going to be focused on college. What do you think about Miami College? I'll take a look at it. So let me get into this. I do have one play for you guys I'm going to share. It's probably one of the stronger ones that I'm looking at for today. And let me get right into this. So right here, I'm looking at the sharp edge. I've updated this to look a lot cleaner. If we look at the line moves, for example, it tells you straight up what you should be looking at. So for example, Jacksonville and Stetson, it went down 5 points. The Wolves and North Alabama went down 6 points, and so on. These are not final plays. These are just strong leans of where you should be looking, because that's where the books are adjusting to. Same thing with the Warriors and the Thunder. That's actually one of the plays that I'm looking at. It's going on the under. And then you got the Hawks. It went from a 2.5 to a 6.5. So that's a 4-point line move. Clippers went up, and so on. So take a screenshot if you guys want to check that out. Let me get into college. So I did have somebody ask me here. Let's see, what is this? Miami College. Is it this one here, Louisville? Let me know if it's this one. Julio, are you there? Let me know. So Miami Hurricanes versus Louisville. The first thing I like to look at here is obviously the line moves, but I had some issues with one of the scrapers because I updated the Ken Palm information. So it kind of broke some stuff because I was building out this other section. So it doesn't show me the line moves today, but it will tomorrow. Let me just, actually, some of the games did show up. Some of them don't, just because there's so many games. Sometimes they don't show all the stats. So anyway, let me see. Miami, Florida started as an underdog, and it went to a favorite. So the line flipped. Like I said, it's not showing me that right here, but it should. It started as underdogs, and they went to favorites. They're both Big Ten teams. The Cardinals do have an 80% hit rate. Let's see. Cardinals. So the Cardinals at Hurricanes. So it's looking like the Cardinals have a edge over here. They do have more free three-pointers. The over has hit, and then Louisville Cardinals are 0% against the spread when they're on the road. So it's not really going to be a spread game. This is more of a money line situation. Now the ranking for this is important too. Like the ranked for the team is 28 compared to a 16. So Louisville is actually very strong, much not crazy stronger, but they are stronger. So this section has just got added, and it threw off some of my other stuff, but it's super important. I had to do it because if you don't know what KenPom is the gold standard for college basketball. So these are all the stats. It tells you Louisville has a 53% chance of winning. Their tempo is overall 71 possessions. We start getting deeper into this. Some of this stuff I'm still learning because college basketball I have not paid attention to in the past. I kind of just pushed it to the side, but I'm going to start digging much deeper into it, especially in March Madness. So shooting accuracy, Louisville has all of these guys have an edge for shooting efficiency, turnover efficiency, offensive rebounds, and free throw rate. So Louisville has the edge whenever they have the ball. Now Miami, actually, let me take a look here. Let me see how this is looking. So shooting efficiency, I gotta look at this deeper because now I'm looking at this. Whenever Louisville has the ball, so offense, they are better, and then whenever Miami has the ball, so they are better. So I have to look at how that's working out actually. Again, I just posted this last night, so I have not had a chance to actually filter out exactly how it's supposed to look. I just kind of designed it to look nice. So once I start getting deeper into this, I do have points per possession, 124. So Louisville does have an edge over here. It does look like they do have an edge. But the line did flip on the opposite side. Now, the strength of schedule, this is very important, especially in college, is 87 versus 31. So what this means is that whoever is lower, what this means is that they have had a harder schedule. So sometimes these ATS trends and these records are not accurate, or they're accurate, but you have to take into consideration that if they've been playing sorry ass teams, and the other team has been playing super strong teams. So I'll give you an example. Yesterday was the Portland Trailblazers. The Portland Trailblazers have one of the heavier strength of schedule. So they've been playing very hard teams, and the other team was not. So the records showed that, but Portland Trailblazers had a much tougher time, and they ended up hitting for us because of that that extra stat that I was looking at. So let's take a look here. This is going to be a very close game. It does say Louisville has a 53% chance. There's really no edge here. I don't see an edge overall. It's just very, very. It's a coin toss is what I'm seeing here. You can see overall points per game is 85 compared to 82. They allow 71 points. These guys allow 70 points. There is no edge that I see. The only thing I see here is the injury report. There's some I don't know these players quite yet, so I wouldn't be able to tell you if it's a big deal or not. So you might want to look into that, take a screenshot, and then the deeper research just says Miami. Louisville shows concerning spread performance with only 5 covers. Let me take a look at the spread. It doesn't show me the spread. Oh, actually, it does show me here. So, I mean, just because a team doesn't cover the spread doesn't mean that they don't win the game. So take that into consideration. This is a what do you call that? A coin flip. I'm not going to go one way or another on this one. I don't like it. So I'll stay away. Whose injuries on Louisville? Louisville, this is the injury report. So you got Mikael Brown and Khalifa, it looks like. And then on the other side, you got Melovic, Maddock, and Allen. Yeah, thanks for the comment, man. Yeah, you're welcome. So let me get into the one that I do like. YouTube notifications are 100% trash. Glad to see you're on here today. Yeah, you're welcome. I took the Clippers last night. That's cool. Did they win? I think they did win, right? So yesterday was a real shitty day for us. I've been having a pretty bad week overall. NBA has just been straight trash. And then what I've been noticing too is that I've made big mistakes where so for example, if I liked Charlotte yesterday, I took Charlotte on the money line. with a parlay, and then I took Charlotte at a -2, and then I took Charlotte on the under. So because one team fucks up, it messed up 3 of my plays. I did that 3 days in a row, actually 2 days in a row, and then last week I did the same thing. So those are just rookie mistakes, and that's why I said, you know what, let me take a step back because I think I'm over analyzing some stuff sometimes. Let me get back into this. Houston's supposed to be I think they're actually live. Let's see. Houston Cougars. I was looking at this last night, and I think they're playing right now, 11. Yeah, let me see what they're doing here. Houston versus Cowboys, NCAA. Yeah, so damn, you might be able to catch a nice line right now. They're actually Oklahoma State Cowboys are. Let me take a look at this current line right now. This might be a nice little deal right now. Give me a second here. Let me look up this line because they were supposed to win by 10. And they're actually down. So this might be a nice live one. Yeah, they're still favored by 4.5 right now. And they're down by 9. So I actually like that one. I will tell you, I took Houston. I shared it to the VIP before I jumped on this call, is to win by 10, to win by 9.5. So if we do the math here, they're down by 9. And you can get the value at 4.5. I'm not going to double down just for the reasons I just said, but if this was a live play, I would have definitely took it at the 4.5. So they're supposed to win this game by 15. You can see 81% hit rate that they're supposed to win, 71% on the under, and then they've covered the spread 100% of the time in the last 5 games. Houston is a ranked 6th compared to Oklahoma. They're ranked 35th. And the win probability is 82% for Houston. So let me just take a look at the money line. What the money line is? 225. That's not bad. I actually got the 225 at a -9.5. So if you're able to get that at the 4.5 for that, I'm sorry, at the money line, that's a great deal right there. So you can see Houston pretty much has all the stats on their favor. Defense is not that great over here compared to 9. Look at this. Houston's supposed to hit this 90% of the time, or 90% win probability. They got a 98% overall, 91% on the offense, 98% on defense. These guys have a very good offense as well, but their defense is trash. Or not trash, but like a C grade. And finally, points per game is 84 compared to 77. Down. That would have been good to know. Opponent points per, this is where it comes into the big picture. Opponents' points per game, they keep them at 62. So they're keeping a lot of teams low on the they're keeping them very low on the points. Then we got two injuries over here, Falah and Jennings. So anyways, I took Houston earlier today at a -9.5 to cover. And right now they're still at a -4.5 because they're losing the game on live right now. Yeah, it's still 4.5 if you guys want to check that out. There's 4 minutes left in the first half. Let's see what we got. NBA is trash. Charlotte is losing. Just throw a kink out there. Everything I don't have Charlotte on my other play. Would be good to know. Ball kept points up. All right, cool. Let me go into the one I do like for today. So right here is going to be Texas versus Tigers. Again, the line move is supposed to be working. For some games, it does show it. For some games, it doesn't for some reason. I got to take a look at that. But anyway, let me take a look at the live odds. Texas A&M started at a 2.5. It currently went to a 3.5. So it did move one point. 81% of the bets, 82% of the money is on Texas. So the public is actually aligned with this play for Texas. Texas has a 83% hit rate. They do have, okay. The over has hit 65% of the time. And then what is this? Texas 7-2 in the last 9 games. So they're winning a lot of games recently. Also, Texas is ranked 14th compared to LSU is 62nd. Let's see. So the efficiency right here, you can see they're ranked 10th in points per 100 possessions on offense. So these guys are ranked 125th. So they're ranked 10th compared to 49th on offensive efficiency. And then points allowed, they're only allowing 99 points compared to 106. And then the tempo is pretty much the same. And then this is called the luck factor. What the hell is this? Luck factor. Positive, winning more than expected. So that could be due to aggression or whatever. And then strength of schedule. This again, let me explain this. Let me zoom in a little bit. This is important. So right here where it says strength of schedule, the lower the rank, the tougher opponents. So I just showed you above, Texas has the 8th worst worst schedule. So they've been facing a lot of tough teams compared to 57. So now if we go up here again, you can see in the last 6 games, the last 6 games that they played each other, they're hitting at an 83%. And then overall, they're hitting at a 77% against this team already. And they're facing tougher opponents overall. So it's looking like a very strong Texas play, in my opinion. So now we also have a very strong offense over here, somewhat of a decent defense, 91%, and then Texas A&M is a 58% chance that they'll win this straight up. They do have this guy McKenzie is out for the season. Aggies are 7-2. They're not 7-2 in the last. Against this team, they are. So this is a head-to-head trend. All right. So I do like Texas in this position. Let me go back into the sharp plays over here for NBA just so you have a look. This I added the other day. So I've been adding a lot of features. Basically, I have a lot of scrapers and stuff that go out, and it does a lot of analysis for me in the morning. So right here, it is telling me to take a look at, as a strong play, is looking on the under for OKC and Golden State. So again, I'm kind of staying away from the NBA. So if you want to take a look at that, that's up to you, but just make sure you do your research. It's also telling you to take a look at the Bucks at a -11.5, but the confidence level is a lot lower than this. It also didn't show up as a card over here because it's not a strong or nuclear play. So you might want to look at the Bucks. Like I said, it's up to you how you want to work that. Let me go back into the NBA real quick. Clippers are on a back-to-back. Memphis has a one-day rest advantage. The Timberwolves are supposed to win this by 2. Pistons are supposed to win this by 16. The Hawks are supposed to win this by, 8? Clippers are still supposed to win this by 4, even though they're on a back-to-back and they traveled, which is interesting. And then you got the Bucks are supposed to win this by 13. The Jazz are just completely trash. I do have another note that I wanted to say. Let me go back in here. That just triggered me to remember. Let me look at this NBA. So this is what I was talking about earlier, is this NBA All-Star break. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier. Basically just says that these teams are tanking. Teams that are out of the playoff contention, they no longer have a reason to play. So there's a lot of stuff like that. Lack of motivation. They're no longer in the playoff hunt. They let their rookies play more time. They sit out their star players. There's a lot of negativity going on after the All-Star break. So that's one thing. And then these are the teams that are looking for that are either already locked in or pretty close. Not locked in. I wouldn't say locked in, but they're pretty safe in the positioning. So Pistons are strong, Celtics, Knicks, Cavs. And then the lower seeds are Raptors, 76ers, Magic, and the Heat. And then they're still battling is the Hornets and the Hawks. So the Bucks and the Bulls. So this is where it starts getting important, is that you can see the Bucks are outside, but they're still alive. So you might, again, that goes into the motivational factor. And then the ones that are effectively out is Wizards, Nets, and Pacers. That's for the East. And then for the West, we got Thunder, Spurs, Timberwolves, Rockets, Nuggets, Lakers are pretty much safe on the top 6. And then still battling is Suns, Warriors, Clippers, Trailblazers, Grizzlies, and Mavericks. And then pretty much the teams that are out are the Pelicans, Jazz, and Kings. So again, the reason I bring that up and it reminded me to take a look at that is the Bucks still are fighting for something, and the Jazz are pretty much out. So these guys are completely trashing shit out of every game right now. They're losing by a lot, stuff like that. I mean, they are winning a couple of games, but not by a lot. They have a lot of injuries. They're sitting out a lot of players. Just look at this over here. So all this stuff matters. If you're not paying attention to the little details like that, then, I don't know what to tell you. This one I'm actually looking on the under, like I mentioned, started at 223, went down to a 219. Strength of schedule, the Warriors have had a tougher schedule. 93% chance OKC takes this. The offense for Golden State is pretty bad. They have very good defense and very good defense, so that helps with the under. And then you got all these injuries over here. Just look at this. I have to actually zoom out so you can see all the injuries for both sides. So that affects the over completely. Porzingis is questionable. That might be the only one that actually affects the over. You got all these other ones. Caruso is a great defender, so that affects the over. Hardenstein is out, and Williams and stuff like that. So there's a lot of injuries in this game. I do like the under because of the great defense and all the injuries and the line shifting down. Even though 92% of the money is on the over, this is going on the under. So there's a lot of stuff to look at there. On this Kalshi market, let's take a look. This is for today. So it's saying very strong OKC, very strong Detroit, very strong Milwaukee. So those are the three to take a look at. You might want to look into parlaying all three of those because they're going to be, this one's super heavily juiced at a minus 10.5. This one is extremely juiced at a minus 14.5. And then the Pistons are also very juiced. You know what? I'm going to write this down. I might take this as a 3-leg, actually. I'll take a look at it. I don't like doing 3 legs, but in this case, it might be worth it. So I'll do maybe Detroit, OKC, and Milwaukee on the money line. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. I'm going to take a deeper look into those. But I do like OKC to win for sure. And I have not taken a look at Milwaukee or Detroit. And then we got over here for college. I'll just give you the ones that are supposed to be winning. St. Thomas, Eastern Tennessee, Rice, Southern Florida, LIU, Irvine, Baylor, Yale, St. Joseph, North Dakota, Navy, Tulsa, Hawaii, Vermont, Grand Canyon, Purdue, Iowa State, UConn, High Point, Illinois, UAB, Arizona, UMBC, Cal Poly, North Carolina, and Washington. I'm not going to get into all these other details, but these are all the over-unders for college and for NBA. So this is a good tool to have because it just reads the prediction markets for Kalshi. The last thing I'll take a look at, guys, and then I'll answer some questions if you have them. I hit on the under in Houston. I think that's the one I shared. I'm not sure. I got to look at it. We had a bad day, but one of the 2 legs did hit on most of them. It's just like I said, Charlotte just pretty much killed it again. Let me see. I had the Spurs and the Clippers on the under that hit. I did have the over, or that was yesterday, the day before yesterday. I did have a PRA that hit, and then I did have Portland that hit. All right, let's take a look here. I haven't taken a look at this in a couple of days. So what this does is it goes out on a Polymarket, and it tracks all these guys on what they're doing. And the reason we could track this is because of the money. So if we're tracking the money, it tells us where their active bets are. I don't show this because this is for VIP. The people inside the Sharp Edge VIP, it'll show you the actual trader name. So I blurred it out on purpose. So anyway, this guy has 2.5 million in his bank account. He is a Sharp, and the reason this is considered a Sharp is that he bets a lot, very minimal bets, and they're very strong bets. So, for example, this one has 2 bets right now. If we look at his positions, his average bet size is $5,000. So even though he has 2 bets out, one of them is $100. So I would skip that one. The one I would look at is this one, which is $9,000. That means this is 2 units for him. So it does say, will Donald Trump win the 2028 Republican presidential nomination? And he says yes. So his value went down from 5,000 to 4,000. It literally cost him, well, I want to say that. He put in 2 units on this. The value has gone down. So anyways, he has to wait till next 4 years for that to hit. Or what is that, 3 years? No, 2 more years for that to hit. So what I like to do is I like to sort by today. And these are just pretty much plays that are for today. I'm not going to get too much deeper into this, but these are all soccer plays. And again, I like to look at what their current unit size is, what their profit and loss is. So this dude is hitting at a 98% hit rate. So this is good information. Like I said, I just don't take a look at it every day because I've just been so busy with other shit. But this is important information to have also. If you wanted to look at, you can sort by sport. You can look at soccer. You can look at whatever you want. Yup, and we hit on the Spurs also. Cool. All right, guys, let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I think I'll be hopping off. Let me know. We do have 13 people, it says, on Twitter, but nobody really comments over there, I don't think. We have about 11 people on YouTube. Appreciate you guys that are here. Appreciate you guys commenting. I think we crossed like 4,600 people. I want to get to 5,000 as soon as possible. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And let me just kind of recap what I said today. I like the under. I like the under on the Warriors and the Thunder. I'm buying it up a few points. And then I like I like Houston. Let me see what they're doing. Let me see an update on this. Let's see what they're doing. Houston, NCAA. What the hell's the score? Hold on. Hold on. What the hell am I doing here? All right. So now you see they came back. So now they're coming back. The score is 37-41, and now the line shifted again to 5.5. So they're in halftime right now. The money line went up to 350. So when I was showing you this, the money line was 220, and it went all the way up to 250. I actually got this at a -9.5 earlier today, and the line is currently at a -5.5, which is decent value on the live. Clippers lock today. I'll take a look at that one, and then I'll take a look at the Magic. Let me see. All right. Magic burned us the other day, so I don't like them. They burned like 3 different plays for me. So we got Minnesota 5.5. It's currently at a 6.5. Is that correct? Let me make sure, because these line moves, like I said, I think they got thrown off, so I want to confirm. Yeah, so they're underdog. Any thoughts on that Magic game? Okay, so Minnesota is... Okay, I thought you were saying that you're going to take them, so I want to just make sure. Let me go back here. Okay, so the Clippers are on a back-to-back. I'm going to try to answer. I'm answering 2 different questions: the Clippers and the Magic. Okay, so the Clippers are on a back-to-back. They're going against Memphis, which is rested. You can see the little tags right here too. Clippers are on a back-to-back. Grizzlies is rested. Clippers are supposed to win, but not by 6. They're supposed to win by 4. And then Magic, they're supposed to lose by 2, but their current line is plus 5.5. The line is still stuck at a 5.5, even though this is a good sign, actually. 60% of the bets and 63% of the money is coming in on Minnesota, yet the line is still stuck. It's not shifting. So that's a good sign for Magic. Also, Magic have played much stronger teams. They're the 10th worst schedule compared to the Timberwolves. Have had literally one of the easiest schedules. And even with the easiest schedules, they're only covering spreads 40% of the time. And that's because of all the injuries too. So Magic do cover spreads 50% of the time. They have a very strong strength of schedule. And then you got Minnesota, 87% in their last 8 games as a favorite. Now, again, this is why this is important. Timberwolves has had one of the easiest schedules. So that affects this money line. So if you're just looking at the trends at 87%, you're like, damn, Timberwolves are super strong. But you don't realize that they're going against sorry-ass teams. I hope that makes sense. So, yes, so I am looking to agree with this, that the Magic should cover because of these reasons that I just said. The strength of schedule, even though Minnesota's looking very strong, they are facing very weak teams. So strong. They do have a better offense. They do have a better defense for Orlando. Timberwolves are supposed to win by 3. And then I don't think these injuries affect it much. So again, strength of schedule, points per game. So it's not. They are allowing more points, so the defense is a little bit weaker. But again, they're facing one of the much stronger teams. Minnesota does have all the key insights in their favor. Again, Orlando burned me, so I'm kind of not the person to ask right now because they burned me like 3 games in one night. So I do think that they would cover especially because the line is stuck and the money and the public, everything is aligned with Minnesota. All the stats. So you got to think like this. If all the stats, all the money, all the public, I wouldn't say all. Let me rephrase. 60% of the bets, 63% of the money, and then all the stats are showing pretty much in Minnesota's favor. Why is the line still stuck at a 5.5? So that's why you should be looking at that to cover. I like that one. I'm not taking it, but I like it. Let's look at the Clippers. So again, Clippers on a back-to-back. Let me do a little bit of deeper research on how they do on back-to-back situations. Especially because they traveled. So let's take a look. The Clippers did open at a 4.5. They're currently at a 7.5. 73% of the bets, 67% of the money's coming in on the Clippers. So the line is shifting in the favor of the public as well. So the public and the sharp is aligned. They're covering 90% of the games. They've had one of the worst, one of the hardest schedules compared to one of the easiest schedules. So that's good. They're covering spreads at a 90% hit rate, even though they're facing some of the strongest teams. So that's amazing. 62% chance they'll win this. Injury reports, none for Clippers. You got Morant. I think he's out he's not out for the season, but he's been out for a while, I think. You got all these guys on the Grizzlies side. So I highly believe that the Clippers will win this, but I don't know if they'll cover that spread of 7.5. The line shifted too much already. So if you want the value is gone on this one, unless you want to pay the juice at a -3.5, and then that's even a risk because they're on a back-to-back. But what was I going to say? The strength of schedule. Again, it goes back to the strength of schedule. They're covering spreads 90% of the time, and they faced very difficult teams. So let's take a look here. Give me a second here. So 2026, they're 1-5. You know what? I actually saw this the other day because I had the Clippers to cover. On StatMuse, let me see if I can pull this up. Give me a second. So on StatMuse, it's saying, and like I said, I looked at this the other day because I did have the Clippers to cover on a back-to-back, and they ended up covering. But this season, they're 1-5 on no rest to cover the spread. So they did start at a 4.5, went to 7.5. So that's good, but the value is gone. So if you're going to take this, I would do the -3.5 or the money line. That's the only way I would take this, especially because they're on a back-to-back. And this stat right here is horrible. But again, they're covering spreads 90% of the time. I'm covering the Clippers 2.5 Memphis. Oh, plus Memphis. Oh, G League guys. Yeah. That's a decent one. Wait a minute. Clippers to win at a -2.5. Yeah, that's good. All right, cool. So the ones I might be checking out is OKC, Detroit, Milwaukee. I might do a 3-leg, which I don't like doing. So I'm going to have to kind of take a look at that. Again, I don't want to force shit because there's been some good teams losing to sorry-ass teams recently. So I might just stay away because of those reasons. Clippers looks decent, especially at a 2.5. I would even take it up to 3.5. But be careful because they're on a back-to-back. These guys do have a lot of injuries, though. So that 2.5 looks decent. What else? I like the under on this one. And then I do like Houston at a -9.5. I took them earlier. I like Texas. And you can see how many games are on this shit. Out of all these games, only like four of them came up to even take a look at. So Milwaukee, let me take a look actually. So I'll do these last 3 games and then I'll call it a day. So OKC, Thunder. So right now I'm going to see if I can take a look at three teams real quick. I'm not going to go into crazy detail, but I'll just do the research. And then I'll look at Milwaukee because that's part of the money line that I'm going to do for a 3-leg. So let's take a look at it. OKC started at 11.5, went to a 14.5. The money and the bets are split. Warriors do have a much tougher schedule, but they're only covering 30% of the time. These guys have amazing overall team compared to a struggling Golden State. 93% chance OKC takes this. You got a bunch of injuries I already talked about. That's why I'm loving the under on this one too. So check mark number 1 is OKC. I like it. Check mark number 2, let's see, is Detroit. They're supposed to win this by 16. They currently went to 13.5 to a 14.5. It aligns with the public. They are covering their spreads 50% of the time. The Nets have had one of the toughest schedules at an 8 compared to a 16 of Pistons. The Nets are not covering spreads at all, though. And then you got 78% chance, or I'm sorry, 77% in the last 28 games at home. 95% chance Detroit takes this. There's no real Cunningham will affect this spread, but maybe not the money line. So check mark number 2 is good on Detroit. And let's go to the last one. I'll check for the spread and the money line. So I already told you Jazz is pretty much tanking already for the season. Bucks are supposed to win by 13. The line. So this is not good. I'll tell you this right now. The projections show that they're supposed to win by 13, but the books don't agree and the public doesn't agree either. They're only supposed to win by 8. Now you're asking for a -10. It's not looking good because, again, this only says they're supposed to win by 7, actually by 13. So let me take another look here. Bucks. So it started at a 7.5. It's currently at a 10. I would not take it at a 10. Even though the projections do show 10, the books don't agree. So I tend to agree with the books that this line is inflated to a 10. I would not touch it at a 10. The line is shifting in their favor. 50-50 overall. They're both pretty much very similar on the strength of schedule and the ATS trends. Utah is just straight trash. Milwaukee's supposed to win this 90% chance. They do have a crap load of injuries for Utah, like I mentioned earlier. And then these guys, so is Giannis playing? Let me see. Let me confirm if Giannis is playing. Yeah, Giannis is playing. He's right there. So he's supposed to be playing right there. I definitely like the money line. I don't like the spread. Overall picture does say Milwaukee. Overall, it's pretty much green all over Milwaukee. Points per game, everything like that. So third check mark I am going to go there with that 3-leg. The Jazz is young, and they've been playing good. They're completely trashing right now. They are young. They do have a lot of injuries, so they're they have no other choice but to show up. Okay. Yes. Okay. Jazz plus points also may be good. The Jazz plus the points? I don't think so. I wouldn't take it just for the fact that look at this over here. They have a 9% chance. They cover spreads 50-50. So that's the other reason I wouldn't touch Milwaukee to cover. I would basically do the money line or stay away. And they are supposed to win by 13, even though the books only say they're supposed to win by 9. So I wouldn't trust the Jazz to cover at all. Well, I wouldn't say at all because they do have a 50-50 chance overall on the ATS, and Milwaukee's not great at covering spreads anyway. What about the first half? I don't do first half, so I wouldn't be able to give you strong indications. I gave you all the reasoning. You can check out this tool yourself for free for 2 weeks. The link is in the description. And it gives you the full breakdown of all the games too, like this. Well, not a full breakdown, but it's a deeper research. Milwaukee does lead the 2-2. So take a look at that if you want. Just take a look at all this green over here compared to all this red. So I think I've talked enough on Milwaukee, and I don't do first half. So again, I wouldn't be able to help you with that. So I do like OKC, Detroit, and Milwaukee as a 3-leg. I do like the Clippers at a -3.5. I'm taking the under on Golden State. And that's about it, guys. And then the Magic on the +5.5 looks decent too. I'll stay away from that one just because of everything I said of how the schedule has been messing with me. All right, guys, let me know if you have any final questions. Otherwise, I'll be hopping off. I do appreciate you guys. I've been on here for 40+ minutes. If you haven't done so, please make sure you subscribe. We throw out a lot of information. So I appreciate you guys that are constantly here and commenting and liking. And if you can, please share this video. I would appreciate it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Let's have a great day.